my career in healthcare, I think, has been due to a lot of hard work, which is obvious for all of us. But I also was very lucky that there was a lot of serendipity involved. A lot of times where I was at the right place at the right time, and someone was there to give me the next challenge. And I think that was, that's been one of my sort of guiding principles, is, you know, looking for the next challenge and really stretching myself to meet it. And so I've been really lucky that there have been people over the years, and a few of them sitting out here today, that have had that confidence in me. But the best part really for me are the relationships that I've developed. The people like Roxanne, the clients, the colleagues who have become my friends outside of the business world. There's also the people who were my mentors, the people that had the confidence in me and allowed me to grow and develop in my career. And finally, the people that I've had the privilege to act as a mentor. And I think there's maybe a few of them here today too. And I always find it really gratifying to work with people and help them to develop and grow in their careers. So I'd like to close by thanking the Chronicle, Mitch and Joe Pangea, for organizing this and for inviting me to come. And I'd like to thank everybody here for allowing me to share just a little bit of what has been an incredible journey. So thank you.
I first met Peggy a number of years ago when I was at Leo Pharma. And Peggy was with a company known as the Medicine Group, and she came in to make a presentation for a CHE contract. Feel guilty that she didn't get it right about now. Just happens. Everybody can make a mistake, I guess. Okay, one of the things that Roxanne did mention, and I think it is important to acknowledge, that the individuals here, this is not a self-nomination ballot process. You are nominated. All the nominees are reviewed with a certain criteria by a selection committee, and it's indeed a rather rigorous selection and screening process. The next individual who is being inducted into the 2012 Healthcare Hall of Fame is from the General Manager of the Oncology Business Unit of Pfizer, is Richard Feazell. And here to present is to him is an individual who many of you know, or if you don't know personally, you may have seen on the media, is Professor Donald Low. I'll just read you an introductory comment. Dr. Low is head of the Division of Microbiology, Department of Laboratory Medicine and Pathology at the University of Toronto. He's chief of the University Health Network at Mount Sinai, professor, Department of Microbiology and Medicine at the University of Toronto, medical director of Public Health Laboratories, Ontario Agency for Health Protection. He has nothing to do. Dr. Low.
I want to thank Porter Airlines for flying me in from Toronto. I think it's a real pleasure to be up in this neck of the woods. It's a pleasure to be here, and is indeed a real honor to be able to present Richard Feazell to you as he's been inducted into the Hall of Fame. So our background, we have a number of different areas of research interest, but antibiotic resistance has been something that's dear to our heart for the last 30 years. And so I've had the opportunity of working with industry, big pharma, small pharma, over the years. And in fact, that's where my first opportunity to meet Richard was in the mid-1990s when he joined Pfizer, and azithromycin was just coming onto the scene. So it was a great time. It was a time in industry when there was money, and there was money to support research, there was money to support education, promotion, And there was also an opportunity to abuse that money, which I can honestly say that Richard really stood up there, and a real icon in the field. His ethical standards are without question. And it was not only that the fun in working with Richard, but the intellectual back and forth that we would have, because Richard just wasn't interested in getting the results and using them as a marketing tool, but really to understand what the resistance problems were, what was driving it, and how could he use that information to better care for patients. And so I think that having those kind of qualities in an individual not only makes him a worthy person to have in your Hall of Fame, but I think it does your Hall of, it stands well for your Hall of Fame. So I really want to thank Richard for all that he's done in healthcare on the other side of things, in academia and in medicine and research, and to present him to you. Richard.
Dr. Loh, thank you for those very kind words, and indeed those are very formative years, and I think one of the key takeaways from that interaction with Dr. Loh and many of his colleagues in infectious disease was the concept of selective pressure. And indeed it drives antibiotic resistance, and these resistance organisms are the ones who can adapt and change and mutate and transform into continued life and novel forms. And in many ways, this was a key learning for me because our marketplace changes so rapidly, and keeping pace has been very hard. And I took it to heart that there are also learnings just in, understanding Darwin and selective pressure that could be of value in how one looks at markets, and in order to survive and be there tomorrow as a company or as a business unit or as a campaign, you have to keep changing. Now, I'm thrilled, of course, to be recognized and to be part of an elite group of people in the Hall of Fame. Mitch, Joe, thank you so much. And I thank my supporters for also endorsing my candidacy. One thought comes to mind, and it's something McLuhan once said about you can't predict the future by looking in the rearview mirror. And he said it's just enough to be able to stay with the present. That's going to drive a lot of success. And I think that at this point in time, sure, I'm very proud of my accomplishments. Clearly, working with the healthcare sector has been very gratifying, really getting closer to the patient, understanding more of the challenges that healthcare system has. But equally, there's this challenge of keeping current and going forward. I guess some of the things I've done promotionally have been interesting, and I still feel good about them in the past. But probably many of those approaches would probably no longer work because there's so much change with media, with the marketplace, personalized medicines, non-personalized medicines, challenges from every sector, payers, regulators, etc., the overall financial crisis. So our ability to stay afloat and keep moving and keep being creative and innovative is very, very important. I look forward to seeing what some of the younger marketers will eventually do in light of this sort of challenge. Thank you very much.
I think one of the common themes that we've heard often is the word patient, and I think it is worthwhile to acknowledge that the individuals, the common thread between all of the individuals that come up to the Hall of Fame year after year after year are individuals who do not embrace a take the money and run, get out of town attitude, but are actually individuals who have a long-term thinking and do have a patient-centric focus. And at the end of the day, I think that is the one common thread that all of us do have. That at the end of the day, that is the one thing that will make us successful, is making the patient successful. The next individual to be acknowledged and inducted into the Hall of Fame is Dominique Gilbert, the Senior Director of Market Access and Health Outcomes. And to present to him is Elizabeth Dunton, Market Access Manager of Lundbeck.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here this morning, or this afternoon, I guess it is now. But what happened when I walked in this morning, Peggy Ahern mentioned serendipity, and it really was a serendipitous moment for me, because in 1993, Peggy took a chance on me. And I worked for Peggy at the Medicine Group, and I can honestly say that everything that Roxanne mentioned is absolutely true. So I'd just like to take this moment to thank Peggy for everything and to wish her well as well in her new ventures. But I'm extremely honored here today to introduce Dominique Gilbert. Lundbeck is a relatively new company in Canada, and it was established in 1995. And Dominique was one of the original employees hired. In fact, he's still known as one of the originals. I'm sure it was a big leap of faith for him to leave Burroughs Wellcome at the time and join a startup that was virtually unknown outside of Europe. Through the years, he's had tremendous impact on our organization. As a skilled marketer, he helped lead the launches of Celexa, Keppra, Cipralex, and Abixa. And he served as a marketing manager, director of marketing, and during that time of company growth, he mentored many of the employees in our organization, including 2 past winners of this award, Lorena DiCarlo and Dan Leger. He's been known as a skilled communicator, leader, and administrator, and highly regarded for his people skills. As a 13-year employee of Lundbeck myself, I've witnessed this firsthand. During my first 12 years, it was mostly from a sales manager's perspective. But I was always impressed with his enthusiasm, his creativity, his tact, and his diplomacy. More recently, though, I've experienced Dominique's skills and qualities as a manager. Since last year, I joined his market access team, for which he has been the senior director since 2005. The move to market access was a big change for me after more than 20 years on the sales and CHE side of pharma, and Dominique has been supportive every step of the way. He's a terrific mentor and is always available for counsel and thoughtful decision. I can truly say that Dominique is most deserving of this award, and it's a great privilege for me to present this to him on behalf of all my colleagues at Lundbeck. I know that many more of them would have wanted to be here today, but they're all soaking up the sun at one of those exotic Salesforce meeting locations. So the honor is all mine today. Congratulations, Dominique.
Well, thank you very much, Beth. My God, very humbling, and very happy to be here. I'll put my glasses on, so I suspect I'm old enough to be getting this award, and use my glasses to read what I wrote down because I didn't want to forget anyone. I wanted to make sure that I thank people appropriately for this. So first, let me say how honored I am to be receiving this award and to become part of the Canadian Marketing Hall of Fame. I'd like to congratulate all of the other inductees of today and those of past years. As Beth have mentioned, some of them have been part of my team, some have hired, and some have been part of my team. And each bring its unique set of skills and expertise to the pharmaceutical industry and make it such a vibrant and exciting place to work. Thank you to the organizers, to Mitch, to Joe, for this mark of recognition. I also need to thank a colleague of mine, Dominic Macron, our Senior Director of Sales, who actually nominated me for this award without my knowing. I remember going to lunch with him one day, and he was grilling me about all of my past at Lundbeck and wanted every detail, and I wondered what he was up, what he had as a plan. And of course, this was his plan all along. He would have enjoyed being here today and wanted to be here, along with our Managing Director Patrick Cashman, but as Beth mentioned, they're at a national sales meeting at the moment. So my story started 25 years ago in the pharmaceutical industry. The first 9 at Burroughs Wellcome, where I worked in sales and in marketing. And in 1995, I had the great opportunity to apply for a marketing job at Lundbeck Canada, as Beth mentioned, a startup at the time. And so I had the opportunity to actually meet someone there who actually was very important in my career. His name is Ole Krenz. He's currently Senior Vice President of our international market. He's also a long-time Lundbeck employee. And Ola came to Canada in 1995 from Denmark, we're a Danish company, to actually launch the Canadian affiliate. And he really gave me a chance to play such a rewarding role in the project and the launch of our company. In fact, I was part of a team of 6 people who planned the launch of the Canadian affiliate and went on to hire a small team of 10 reps to launch our company in Canada. My first office was literally empty. The furniture was all that